The weekend is upon us, ladies and gents, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for this week's top 5 camps. Now, your judge this time round is Daehla, and trust me when I say, this guy is a monster builder, and he knows his shit. So, for those that are new to the channel, the first half of this video is going to be the best clean builds of the week, and the second half is going to be the best immersive builds of the week. So, with that all being said, let's get into it. In the number 5 spot this week, we have Little Peddler with the Gemini build. Now on the outside, there isn't really too much to this build. It is quite simple. We do obviously have that, nice little bay window effect going down. And of course, the bloody thing stands out because it's bright orange. I mean, you can't really miss it, can you? Now, what you got to remember about this build, guys, is it's nearly 2-year-old now. Well, in fact, it's over 2-year-old. There's been a lot of stuff released since this was made that obviously couldn't be in it. So for it to still look relevant and pretty damn sweet after all this time, it's quite an impressive feat. Interior-wise, it's pretty much the same as the outside of it. Very elegant, very simple. There's nothing too flamboyant about it, I think the word is. But it looks good, it looks clean, and there's a few little tricks in there which do stand out, but for the vast majority of it, it's just clean decorating, and it looks pretty sweet for it. Little Peddler, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 5 spot. In the number 4 spot this week, we have Trash Panda with the Mushroom House build, and I've seen a couple of these now, but this one is... yeah, I'd say it's up there with some of the better ones I've seen. Although it does remind me of somebody else's build that entered into the competition, and I can't remember who it is. If it is, inspired off that build, I do apologise. It's just, I've slept since I've, first started doing this competition. These structures aren't the easiest of things to put together. I mean... The actual main body of it isn't hard whatsoever, really, guys. It's a bloody blueprint. I've explained it to you 27,319 times now. The roof pieces on this, on the other hand, again, they're not really difficult, but they are time-consuming. A lot of messing around with the Bernie Boy 1200s to get that effect. Building technicalities aside though, I think Trash Panda has done a solid job on this. It looks good, whether it was hard or easy to do, it doesn't really matter. Now personally, with these mushroom builds, not that you see too many of them, I think they look better, more natural looking rather than modern. I'm not sure if that's what Panda's going for with this, with the white wallpaper, but, that's what it looks like to me. Overall, though, the exterior is very impressive, and it looks like a mushroom. That's what you're aiming for, so yeah, win-win all round. Interior-wise, there isn't too much to see. I mean, it's a mushroom at the end of the day. There's not really too much space inside of it. But from the decor that you have put down, yeah, again, top work. I do like the little ladder that you've made out, the conduits as well. That's a nice touch. Trash Panda, you've absolutely killed this. Like I say, I do think it's based off another build. Lucy Jane is ringing a bell, but I'm not too sure. But regardless of that, you've put your own twist on it. It looks pretty cool. And yeah, 10 out of 10 all round from me. Congratulations on the number 4 spot. In the number 3 spot, we have Aquanova with the Modern House number 12,087. I'm joking, Aqua. You know I love your builds, I'm just yanking your chain a little bit. No, this is Aquanova's Cranberry Bog Modern House. And as is the case with all of Aqua's builds, it is visually stunning. They all look a little bit different, but they all have the same kind of, Aquanova feel to them. Right off the bat, I'm a fan of the shape of the place and how you've got two different styles, really. You've got your typical modern house kind of vibe going on in the main part of the structure, but, strapped to the side of it effectively, you've got the white spring set, which, in my opinion, that isn't a modern house kind of thing, but it works well together. Aqua, overall, I do like the exterior of this thing. As ever, your post work is absolutely sublime as well. I don't think there's anybody in the game that utilises stair posts quite as well as you do. Yeah, great work on outside of it. Let's have a look on inside. And wow, you really have stepped up your game. I've noticed with most of your builds you're quite minimalistic in the decoration of it, but in this you seem to have put a lot more into it. And to be honest with you, it works rather well. It's pretty sweet looking, this. Now, obviously, it is still quite minimal. However, like I say, you can tell you put a bit more into this build. So, good job on that one. It does benefit from it, is what I'm trying to tell you. Aqua, thank you very much for entering this week. Beautiful work as ever. And congratulations on the number 3 spot. More than well deserved. Coming in at number 2 this week, we have JW1071 or 1071, however the bloody hell you want to say it. Anyway, this has been uploaded on behalf of JW by KH Corners, so thank you very much for that one, my friend. Very gentlemanly of you. Now, what can I say about this thing? While it doesn't look as extravagant as some of the other builds that we've seen in this competition, it is quite a complicated one to throw together, especially the main structure. But before we dig into that, can we just appreciate how beautiful this little compound looks that JW's made? This build is actually called the Hunter's Hideaway, and it definitely does feel like a secluded little hidden spot in the woods, doesn't it? Well, it does to me at least anyway. Take what you want from that. Now on to the aforementioned main structure. I do believe that the outer walls of this place, for the vast majority, are made up out of fireplaces. Now, I could be wrong, but it does look like that texture. I do apologise if I'm missing the mark with this. The quality of the video isn't too high through my screen, so I am struggling a little bit, but I'm going to go and say that, yeah, that is the fireplaces. Let me tell you guys, if that's the case and JW has merged them together so we don't have, you know, fireplaces sticking through on the inside of it, that takes a lot of time. So let's actually take a look at the inside of the build and see if JW has hidden the fireplaces. Yeah, of course he has. He's done a beautiful job with this, actually. Looks fucking right in here, to be honest. And the decor is on point as well. It matches in with the theme, which is... it's going to be the main thing in this kind of build, isn't it? You don't want to say, oh, I've made a Hunter's Hideaway and it looking like a fucking nuka-cola museum. Overall, JW, I think you've absolutely smashed this. Aye, solid work, properly chilling camp, 10 out of 10 from me. Right then, so now we come to the number 1 spot of the clean build category. And who do you think's got it this week? Well, I'd love to tell you this second, but if I did, I wouldn't have time to show you this week's honourable mention. Yes. And this time around, it goes to Traveller with the Casa Materna de la Esperanza build. That's my Italian grandma accent. I don't even know if it's Italian. Anywho's, Traveller, this build is really nice looking. It is beautifully well filmed too. Cannot fault you on that one little bit. And for the most part, bud, you have done an excellent job on this camp. It really is eye-catching. The only comment I would have on it, I'm not sure about Daehla because he didn't tell me, or he did and I've just totally forgot, is the fact you've used floors for roof pieces. I don't know why you've done that. If you could let me know down in comments and, you know, shed a bit of light on it, that would be nice. There may be a genuine reason. Another little thing I weren't a fan of is the exposed conduits, but that's easily solved. It's nothing major. I just thought I'd, you know, put that out there to give you a bit of context as to why it's an honourable mention. At least in my opinion anyway. Traveller, seriously, this is a beautiful build, mate, and with just a little bit more work on it, this is top 5 material. You are a really talented, well, you're a talented builder, pal. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the honourable mention. Right, so now we come back to the number 1 spot of the clean category, and I'm not going to keep you waiting for any longer, guys. This week's winner is Only Sai with the Shadow Bungalow build. What can I say about this, other than what a beautiful looking creation? But have we, you know, come to expect anything less from Only Sai? Most of his builds are quite simply glorious, especially when it comes to modern stuff like this. Construction-wise, it may look simple, but don't let that deceive you. There is a little bit of trickery going on here. We've got the recessed glass walls. Not really too difficult per se, just takes a little bit of, you know, foundation reorientation using a catwalk. But it is nice to see, regardless of difficulty. We got a little bit of double roof action going on. Again, not too difficult to do, but has a great impact on the overall finish. There is a lot more to this than first meets the eye. So from here, let's enter Only Sai's house and take a look at the interior decor. Yep, as to be expected, guys, it's beautifully clean, innit? There is literally not a single aspect of this build I can fault. The kitchen looks absolutely gorgeous, as does the Thanksgiving table. I wish I would have bought that when I had the bloody opportunity. The little sitting room as well looks spot on. I like how you've made them speakers there, dude. Very impressive. You know what? Nothing more really needs to be said about this. It's a nice clean build on the outside, and it's a nice clean build on inside too. You've done a fantastic job on it, Only Side. Right then, so that wraps up the top 5 clean builds of the week. Next up, we're going to have the top 5 immersive builds. Before we get to that though, I'm guessing that some of you watching want to try your hand at the competition, and if that's the case, it's really simple to do. All you got to do is click on the description of this video and you'll see a link to my Discord. Once you've clicked on that and been teleported there, you just got to submit your builds into this section here, usually in the form of a YouTube video. Once you put it in, that's it, you'll be entered for that week's competition. It's as simple as that. Anyhow, enough of future top 5s, let's get back to the task at hand and take a look at this week's top 5 immersive builds. In the number 5 spot this week, we have Lady H with what I can only describe as Skyrim meets Fallout 76. This cool looking bastard here is the Hunter's Celebration Hall, and wow, yeah, this is a really awesome looking camp and it's cleverly done as well, isn't it? The actual structure itself doesn't look too over the top, but that entranceway, my god, it's bloody huge, isn't it? And those big tall giant tallywhackers on either side of it really do give a sense of foreboding. So while the exterior of this thing may be quite impressive, the interior is what does it for me. Guys, just look at the decoration in this place. I don't know about you lot, but to me, personally, it feels like a medieval banquet hall. Maybe not as grand or as, I don't know, medieval, but yeah, it's got them vibes. Lady H, I think you've killed this build. Like I say, it's very medieval in its feel, very Skyrim, and while the outside is, you know, it's half decent, the interior and its decor is what really did it for me. You've done a top-notch job on this. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 5 spot, more than well deserved. In the number 4 spot, we have Sorrow with Daphne's Boutique, and mate, I'm so glad you re-uploaded this. It is such a cool little build. What we've got here, ladies and gents, is a pre-existing structure on the White Springs estate. Oh yes, la-di-da. There is, believe it or not, bloody hundreds of these things knocking around White Springs. There's a toilet block, which I've done a build in. There's a bear's cave. There is like a little office with sun lounges on it, a driving range. There's loads is what I'm trying to tell you. Out of all of them though, this is probably the one that you see most people building in, but I've never seen one as well put together as what Sorrow has done here. This thing is awesome, pal. It feels so immersive. It feels so lore friendly. It 100% makes sense that a trader in Appalachia would set up in a nice, solid, pre-war built structure like this, rather than throwing up a ramshackle piece of shit for call home. Aye, don't get much more lore friendly than this. Sorrow's build is also a perfect example of how powerful decorating can be. If we take a look at a before shot of this structure, it looks pretty bland and boring, doesn't it? I mean, of course it does. It's a tuck shop. However, if we take a look at how Sorrow's decorated it, the difference is night and day, especially on the inside of it. The level of detail that he's put into it, the amount of time that he's spent on it, it's mind-blowing. Aye, Sorrow, you have absolutely knocked this one out of the park, my friend. It is more than worth it of the number 4 spot. Thank you very much for entering this week, buddy. In the number 3 spot this week, we have Sunlight Horse Guy with the tree style build. Fucking hell, Daehla. Anyhow, yes, we have Moonlight Cowboy with the tree style build, and I don't know where to begin, right? I don't know how he does it. I don't care to work out how he does it because it'd give me an aneurysm. Just look at it and enjoy, guys. I'm seriously starting to think something may be wrong with Moonlight because every week he's doing these complicated ass builds and he doesn't show no signs of stopping, guys. Literally, it's just mind-blowing because the quality and the difficulty of these things is just next level. I can't comprehend it personally. It must be down to his last couple of brain cells now, is all I'm saying. I mean, how do you make something like this? It's not so much the building of it, because there's nothing too technical about the structures. In fact, I'm not sure if some of them are actually covered bridge pieces. It's how he gets into these locations, and builds in these locations. Do you get what I'm saying? It is all very impressive, and the end results speak for themselves. I mean, guys, look at that staircase he's made there as well out of stash boxes. It's just fucking incredible. The work that this guy does, I can't fault it. Now, I wish I could share more about this camp, but like I said, I am totally clueless on how it's done, so I'm fucking useless at this point. So yeah, Moonlight, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. In the number 2 spot, we have Jawa 4 with the compact home in the Toxic Valley. And yeah, guys, this is typical Jawa style we got going on right about now. I love the way that he does these kind of builds. They're always very small, they're always very compact, but they look so damn cool. I don't even know what the best way to describe him would be, because it's not a compound, it's not really a house, is it? It's kind of like... I don't even know what you call this bloody thing. It doesn't matter though, does it? It looks awesome. And the way Jawa gets this scrappy and scruffy effect is just by using multiple different building items. So for example, we've got the stone defensive walls, we've got the vanilla defensive rails, I do believe, there as well. You don't see them being used very often. And when you mix all them kind of things together, it gives that ramshackle kind of look, because if you was in a wasteland and you were trying to build your own house, the chances of finding a complete kit of matching stuff would be quite slim, wouldn't it? Of course it would. You'd literally grab whatever sheets of shit you could find, whatever bricks you could find, and throw it all together. And the end result would be something like Jawa's got here. It's just perfectly scrappy. Aye, on the exterior front, Jawa, as always, you have absolutely smashed this one out of the park. That is fucking cool, that is. And your location choice as well. Yeah, I can't even fault that. And I hate the Cocaine Valley. However, your build looks spot on here. Now, interior-wise, let's have a look. Yeah, again, killed it. We've got the same kind of ramshackled effect as what we've got on exterior. None of furniture's matching. Everything's a little bit scruffy. There's junk on most surfaces. Yeah, this is a perfect wasteland camp, this. Jawa, thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the number 2 spot. More than well deserved, pal. And with that, my friends, just before we hit the number 1 spot, it's time for the immersive honourable mention. Oh yes, indeed. And this week it goes to Clones with the Scrap House build. This is one pretty scruffy looking piece of shit, but that is exactly what we're looking for. The worse looking, the better. Now, my favourite thing about this, my friend, other than the decor, because I think you've done a fantastic job of crapping it up on the outside, is the fact that you've thrown in a prefab as well. Now, yes, granted, I'm not a massive fan of the prefabs, but I think that little treehouse, yeah, it fits in with this build almost perfectly. Apart from the tree's pretty shit. I've never liked that on this prefab. Personally, Clones, I really did like this build. When I was having a look through them all, this was... yeah, I'd say it was in my top 5 of favourites submitted. You've done an awesome job on it. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the honourable mention. Right, so now we come back to the number 1 spot for the immersive category. And who do you think's got it this week? Well, I'm not going to keep you waiting for any longer. This week's winner is Alex P with the Ashy Retreat. And wow, what a fucking amazing camp this is. My God. Alex, seriously, dude, You've taken this to the next level with this thing. I've seen you do some pretty incredible clean camps. I have never seen you go to this level with immersive camps before. Wow, fantastic work, pal. Honestly, I can't criticise it. The main building itself looked so damn scruffy, and again, it's because he's used so many different building sets. I mean, I can see the Helvetia set, I can see the standard shack set, I can see some of the warehouse set in there. It's just a mishmash of crap, but if you get it right, and you do it proper, this is the kind of thing you can come up with. Now I get it, not all of you are into immersive builds like I am. Some of you are into the modern kind of stuff, but you've got to admit, doing stuff like this, it isn't easy. It is an art form in itself. I mean, yes, granted, it's a bit of a scatty art form, you know. It looks like you could catch a disease off it, but that's not the point, right? Art is subjective, innit? Now, as well as the exterior, the interior has been decorated. It's been decorated fairly well, I will admit. I have seen better immersive decoration. However, please don't think that's me saying it's bad. You have done a really solid job on it. Straight up with you now, Alex, this is an awesome build. It's in my... I'd say it's one of my favourites that I've seen in competition thus far. My friend, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the #1 spot. More than well deserved. And thank you to everybody who entered this week. There wasn't as many as usual, but the competition was still tough. I appreciate you all taking the time to enter, and well done. Your camps were seriously, seriously cool. Now, my pick of the week, TNG's pick of the week, is going to go to Batandra with the Sliderai Dry build, which is woodchucker or carpenter, or something based on wood, I do believe. Now, I think this camp is absolutely awesome looking, and the way that it's been decorated inside is also fucking unreal. It looks like a working lumber shop, guys. I wish I had more time for show this, guys, but I don't. You know, it's getting late and the video's getting up there in the minute. So yeah, please use the link in the description and go and check this out in the full. I cannot do it justice. Anyhow, yeah, as ever, I'd like to say a massive thank you to all my channel members and Patreons. The extra support is much appreciated. If that's anything that you guys are interested in, there's a link in description, as well as links to all my other socials too. Anyhow, as we say it north, I'll love you and leave you, and I'll catch you next one. Have fun.